Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. We're continuing on in our course, our unit of how to talk about plans and processes. So, last week we worked on lots of vocabulary about plans and processes, talking about technical and non-technical processes, and we looked at some key vocabulary in that. We can review that today. And we're going to be moving on to dealing with a practical problem that you might encounter in getting trying to clarify some problem with the process. We'll be learning key expressions, we'll be doing a little bit of listening, and we'll isolate some of the most important things, language that you'll need to be able to deal with problems in plans and processes. Well, more about that in a minute. First, a little bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour, and I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out from Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. And here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means when you're not speaking, please turn off your microphone so we can keep the classroom quiet. When you are speaking, please tune in to the new words, the new vocabulary that you learn. Use it actively so that I can correct you. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. So we'll be doing the next part of this unit, how to talk about plans and processes. There should be some other people joining us, but let's just say a quick hello to some new faces here. So, Anton, I don't think we've met before. How are you?
Hello, teacher. Nice to meet you. I was only once, but it was only a little entry, and I didn't have any classes with you.
Ah, okay. Where are you from, Anton?
I'm from Spain.
From Spain. Okay, very good. Well, here's what we're going to do. We should have some other people joining us because there's a lot of people signed up. So I think what we'll do is, just trying to think if we should review the vocabulary while we're waiting. Well, let's do this. Let's just get started. I'll go over some of the vocabulary that we learned as we do the new unit. So let me get this on the screen. If for any reason you can't see the presentation or anything like that, don't forget you've got the direct link in the description of the class, and I'll also post it in the vocabulary window. Vocabulary, what am I saying? The chat window. Today I'm not okay. I've been sick a couple of days, so bear with me. Okay, so you've got 2 links in the class chat, the Verbling chat window. The first one is to the shared notes. That's where I'll be making corrections and giving you new vocabulary. And the second one is the presentation that you'll see on screen. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, while we're waiting for people to join us, I'll just show you quickly what to do with the notes. Give me just a second for this to download. I'll just share my screen real quick before we do the presentation and show you the notes. Hold on a second here. Okay, so if you open the notes, you'll see this gold graphic that says Getting Results in Business. So that's how you know you're in the right place. That's on page 1. And if you scroll down on the second page, any news for the class is there on page 2. That just says to contact with me if you want to review the previous vocabulary from any of the units we've done. A little description of the class, my contact information. Then on page 3 is the classes that we've done. So we're in Unit 14 right now. And underneath that table of contents, you can see the actual classes in 14. The 28th, the 30th, the 1st of May, 2nd, and this is the 6th. And we've got a list of vocabulary. Excuse me. So all of that is on page 4. So I'll be adding to the vocabulary list, and I'll do a little summary of what we do today. And anything we need in terms of corrections or new vocabulary, I'll be putting here for you. Okay? So just so you know. All right, let's get started. So on your screen, you should see how to talk about plans and processes. Last week, we talked about this a little bit. I asked you to describe the picture, and things that I heard last week when we were describing the picture were, well, it seems to be labor intensive. It looks like an assembly line of some kind. This printing press with the newspapers. It's an automated process. It's a mass production process. So these are all vocabulary words from the first class. And today, we are still going to be talking about processes and making and changing plans for the future, but that's what we're going to focus on specifically, this one, making and changing plans for the future. So we are still going to work on the vocabulary, though. So let's start here. We're going to be focusing on explaining how something works, like we did last week, comparing old with new. All of the key vocabulary that you're going to find is on the last page of the slide. So if at any point you feel like cheating, you can just go to page 11 and you'll see the target vocabulary that we're going to learn. Okay? But try not to cheat, because I want you to discover the language rather than just read it. So we're going to begin here. Why do companies need databases? We're going to be listening in on a conversation, but the conversation is about databases. So first, we got to clarify what a database is and why companies need them, what sort of information they keep. Do you use a database? So let me just start here with a little bit of background. So what would you say to any of these questions? Why do companies need databases? What's the purpose? What do you think? Giuseppe or Anton?
Firstly, I am going to ask you about to put the link. You said put it now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. About the databases, I think is all companies need a lot of information and
Right.
to organize past work and about this information to take into account to make their own decisions about the information who is contained in these databases, maybe.
Sure. That's it. Yeah, exactly. And Giuseppe, what kind of information would go in a company database? What would you say?
Well, basically, database consists of a group of information such as technical information, description information, spare parts, or the layout of the things that which the companies does, and more.
When you say layout, we normally think of layout in design, like the layout of a web page, what goes on the top and what goes on the bottom. So when you say layout, you don't mean the design of something. I think what you mean to say is, I don't know, I mean the organization of all of the elements of the company. Like you said, parts, to catalog the parts of whatever they're producing. What about cataloging and getting information about the customers and clients as well, depending on the type of company?
Of course, well, I think the databases are articulated in base of the information that the company has. For example, the company decided to identify a customer and a client, and the clients with a number, with a specific number contract or something else.
Right. Uh-huh.
And well, from my experience, I used a database called SAP. It's a logistic database, very complex. And over there, I can find out about spare parts identification, and which consists of a part number and a number, equipment number.
So basically, you have at your fingertips all the information you need about the parts that you work with when you're doing maintenance.
Exactly.
Right? So you know all the specifications, you know how many parts you have in the storehouse, etc., etc.
Exactly, yes.
What about you, Anton? In what way do you use databases? So Giuseppe's talking about a SAP system. In what ways do you use databases at work or at home?
Both, in both ways. And if I have to speak about my job,
give me an example at work. Do you use a SAP system?
Yes, we have a.
Do you use a SAP system like Giuseppe?
A SAP system? I don't know.
SAP.
Ah, no.
Well, tell us what kind of database.
Yes, we usually use a system which is connected with a central system in Madrid, who allows us to enter any database all over the Spanish geography, and this is for an electric company that is one of our clients. It's a system in which you can find by the identity card of any person or direction or something similar. You can find or entry any new contract or something similar. But this is only one of the ways we are trying to work. We have an old system with Access and Excel and some like this, right? We don't use a SAP system.
And what kind of company do you work for?
Iberdrola is one of the most important energetic companies that are in Europe. I think it's one of the biggest or the biggest, because he acquired by British one of the British companies, and he is all over the world, especially in South America, and in which Spanish companies have a lot of job, a lot of interest, and all over the especially European geography is one of the most important leaders of energetic companies.
Okay, very good, very good. Let me just point out 3 quick corrections. Earlier, I was correcting you, Giuseppe, about layout. We use layout when we're talking about design. So I think I'm going to put this in the notes on page 4, by the way. So just to remind you that instead of layout, you might want to use, I don't know, in your case, maybe just, I don't know, organization, or I'm not really sure what the best word would be. But just to let you know that when we're talking about the design of something, how it looks, we use layout. You also said something about the information, how the information is articulated. Articulated is a very fancy word in English, so we don't use it that often. We say put together, how the company is put together, not articulated, because that's a very 19th century sounding word. And for you, Anton, you said all over the Spanish geography, or all over the European geography, but in English we should probably say just all over Europe. All over Europe. So you can see that correction as number 15 on our vocabulary list on page 4. Okay, so if you want to follow along, it's there. So we don't need to word geography. You just have to say all over. Wow, that's very loud. Someone's got a very loud phone. Okay, very good. So we've done a little brainstorming here about the ways we use databases. So, excuse me, in Giuseppe's case, it's a SAP system. And in Anton's case, it seems like you have a local database that's connected to a server that has the kind of master database with all the information about the individual clients or customers, if I understand correctly. Okay, very good. Well, let's listen in on a conversation. A hotel chain has a new customer database for all its hotels. It is being presented to the hotel manager and her staff for the first time. You're going to listen and answer the questions. Let's just read through the questions before we listen, okay? So everyone pick a question. So Yuki, can you read the first for us, then Giuseppe, then Anton, then back to Yuki again.
What was one of the disadvantages with the old database?
Okay, good. And Giuseppe, next.
When can they use the new database?
How it is
Okay, and Anton, number 3.
Okay. How is it similar to the old database?
What is new about it?
What does the hotel manager suggest is a problem with the new system?
All right. So these are the details you're going to be listening for, and I'm going to be reading this because unfortunately there's no way for me to play the audio, but I want you to use your ears. So that's why I'm going to be reading this. Only one little problem is that why does that say 18? Give me a second because something is a little strange. Why does that say 18? Hold on a second. I have to find my audio. Hold on one second here. 14. Why does that say 18? I'm very confused. That must be 58. Give me a second here. Okay. Hang on a second. There seems to be a problem with my audio. Hold on a second. Okay, let me see what's wrong here. Hold on. I'll tell you what, I just have to double check because the numbering is wrong, so I don't want to be reading you the wrong unit. Give me just a second to double check. The problem here is I've been sick for the last couple of days. My brain is not working right yet, but I'll be okay in a second, I'm sure. I just have to open the material and see why this doesn't line up properly. So give me just a second here. Okay, this is... Why does that say 18? This is so confusing. It's very, very confusing. 18 and 19. Okay, I'm lost. Okay, I think I know what happened. Okay, I see. The problem is... Yep, okay, the material got switched somehow. That's what the problem is. Okay, here's what I'll do. Sorry. So I have the material. Somehow the presentation got switched. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be sharing my screen. I can't believe this. Okay, so sorry, Unit 4 and Unit 14 got mixed up. That's what happened. So we're talking about databases, and that's completely the wrong part of the wrong unit in the wrong section. Here's the right one. Let me share my screen. It's this. Sorry about that. So, I thought that was a little bit odd. No, it's not databases. It's this one about the biofuels that we started last week. So, okay, let's start over. Planning future contact. That's what it is. Okay, I'm going to be, so forget about those questions. Let's start over here. We're listening for why Anton, not you Anton, the character Anton, why this character Anton is interested in Carl's talk. Anton makes 2 invitations to Carl. You have to find out what they are. And finally, how does Carl say yes? How does he say no? How does he agree and disagree? Excuse me. So, my apologies for getting the units mixed up. When I created the presentation, I don't know, somehow I must have switched that section. Okay, but this is the right one. And what we're going to be listening to is an investor. Anton Golikov speaks with Carl Kirster, the CEO of a biofuels company. After his presentation to a group of investors, listen to the conversations. Okay, so let's give it a try. There's going to be 3 short conversations. Just use your ears, and then we'll go over those questions. Anton says, "Excuse me, can I interrupt you for a second?" Carl replies, "Yes, of course." Anton, "I enjoyed your talk. It was very interesting." Carl, "Thank you. I'm glad you could come." Anton, "In fact, I represent a group of investors who are very interested in your proposal for a new refinery. I'd like to invite you to Moscow." Carl, "That would be great." Anton, "My name is Anton Golikov." Carl, "I'd love to, but I'm afraid I have another appointment right now. Do you have a card? How about if I call you next week?" Anton, "Yes, here you are. You have my number on the card, and in the meantime, I'll talk to my colleagues about the jatropha seeds. Last week we talked about making biofuel from jatropha." So, that is conversation 1. Conversation 2. No, actually, let's stop there. Okay, that's all we need to do. So let's go back. If you'd like, I can read it again, but it was pretty short. So tell me, just from hearing it one time, why is Anton interested in Carl's talk? From what you understood. Speak freely.
He presents his group or something like that.
Well, he's had a talk, and now after the talk, you can see them there in the lobby. And what is Carl interested? He presents a group of what? Ahmed.
I
A
don't
group
remember.
of a group of investors.
Okay.
So Anton, right? Anton represents a group of investors, and what are they interested in specifically? I'll take that as no one is sure. Okay, we'll come back to it in a second. Look at question number 2. Anton makes 2 invitations to Carl. What were the 2 invitations that he made?
The first one could be maybe invite him to Moscow.
That's right, exactly. And the second?
And the second, I don't know because I have a cold.
Oh, okay.
So,
did anyone catch the second one? Okay, the second one was he invites him for a drink to socialize. He invites him for a drink to talk about this plan. You'll hear it again in a second. The third question, how does Carl say yes and how does he say no?
Did he say? I'm not sure, but I think he said like, "I love to."
That's right. He said, I'd love to. I would love to. I'd love to. That would be great. I'd love to. And how does he say no? He doesn't say, no, I'm not interested. What does he say? What's his polite way of saying no? Do you catch it?
Unfortunately,
Almost. He said, but I'm afraid
I'm
I'm
afraid.
afraid I can't. I'm afraid I have another appointment. Listen a second time. Now you know what you're listening for, so listen a second time, because it's really short. Anton says, excuse me, can I interrupt you for a second? Carl, of course. Anton, I enjoyed your talk. It was very interesting. Carl, thank you. I'm glad you could come. Anton, in fact, I represent a group of investors who are very interested in your proposal for a new refinery. I'd like to invite you to Moscow. Carl, that would be great. Anton, well, my name is Anton Golikov. Would you like to join me for a drink? Carl, oh, I'd love to, but I'm afraid I have another appointment right now. Do you have a card? How about if I call you next week? Anton, yes, here you are. And you have my number on the card, and in the meantime, I'll talk to my colleagues about the jatropha seeds. Remember, last week's class we talked all about the process of making biodiesel. We looked at a technical process and described the steps. So this is the same company that makes the biodiesel. That's why they're talking about the refinery and the jatropha seeds. So, with that in mind, let's just go back to the one question that we missed. And why is Anton interested in Carl's talk? He represents a group of investors, and what are they interested in specifically?
He realized they are going to build a refinery.
No one? Yes, that's it. Refinery. Repeat. Refinery.
Refinery.
That's it. That's it. Very good.
Refinery.
Right. So in other words, maybe they're interested in this venture. Maybe they're going to invest. And he backs out by saying, I'm afraid. He backs out of the drink by saying, I'd love to, but I'm afraid I have another appointment. So that's his polite way of saying no. So keep that in mind as we listen to this conversation. Here, in part 2, it's asking you to work with a partner. Oh, we've got 4 people. That means we can do 2 and 2. Take turns to make invitations using the prompts 1 to 5 and respond positively or negatively. For example, would you like to join us for a drink? That would be nice. I'd love to. But I'm afraid I... So we're going to use some of those key expressions that we just heard in the audio, well, in the reading that I did. So the first one I've done for you. Let's see if we can start with Yuki and Giuseppe. Yuki? Yuki?
Yes.
Number 2 is give. The verb is give. And the thing that you have to do is a training session. So you're going to be making an invitation to Giuseppe in prompt number 2. The context is that you're working for this company, I suppose. You can use the same company if you want, this biodiesel company. It doesn't really matter. But you're making an offer to Giuseppe. And Giuseppe, I'd like to hear you politely. You can respond positively or negatively. It's up to you. But using polite language.
Okay. Giuseppe, would you like to give a training session next week?
That would be nice.
What problem? That's good. So that's good. So can you can you arrange the schedule and get the member to take part in the training session? Can you make a list of the people who want to join a training session?
How about this, Yuki? Can you draw up a list? Draw up a list. So that's the verb you should use.
Can you draw up the list
of
list
possible participants.
can you draw up the
Possible.
can you draw up the list of possible members who will join the training session?
Members? No. Participants. Participants. Right.
Could you draw up the possible members in training section?
Why members? Participants. It sounds better.
Can you draw up the list of participants of the training session?
Oh gosh.
It's either yes or no, Giuseppe.
Yes.
You're either going to do it. Very good. Let's take a look at some of our key expressions here. I don't have this in the presentation form, so bear with me for a second. So Yuki, you said would you like to, I think. So we've got a few others on the right side. I'd like to invite you. I was wondering if. I'd be delighted if you would. Would you like to is what you said, or how about joining me for? So we've got a bunch of key expressions there we can use. And Giuseppe, that would be great. That would be nice. I'd be delighted to. Okay. Or declining. I'd love to, but I'm sorry, but thanks, but sorry, but etc. So I think for tomorrow's class I'll have the presentation fixed, so you'll have a copy of this. But for today, I'll just share my screen and remind you of some of the key expressions. So take a minute, memorize those. Let's go to Giuseppe and Anton now. Our prompt is number 3. Going. The key vocabulary is verbs. Going to. The place is cinema. So this is a socializing request. Giuseppe, you're inviting Anton. And I'll put the prompts on the screen again. Those are your key expressions for inviting.
Okay.
Go ahead, Giuseppe.
I was wondering if you would like to attend the meeting.
What happened to the cinema? Number 3.
Number 3. I was wondering if you would like to go to the cinema.
Oh,
Okay.
I apologize, but I regret to announce you that I have another appointment at this hour. It's impossible for me. I just would
Okay,
like
good.
to.
Good idea. But let's stick to the key vocabulary here. Look at the vocabulary for declining, and I'll scroll down a little. And changing plans if you want as well. So, I regret is way too formal. Way too formal. That's like if you're writing something. But if you're speaking, look at those expressions, Anton, under declining.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but I understand it's important for you, but it's impossible for me. I haven't enough time to go to the cinema. I have a lot of work to do, and I'm very busy.
Okay, good. But keep it simple. Keep it simple. I'd love to, but I'm afraid I'm too busy. And then you could, if you want, you could pick another expression under changing plans or giving reasons. You could say, as you said, sorry, I apologize for any inconvenience. I'd love to go with you, but we just have a lot of work right now, and I have to deal with it. But keep it simple. Keep it simple. I'd love to, but I'm afraid I can't because I'm too busy. Okay, let's go back to the 4th prompt. Number 4. So Anton and Ahmed. Anton, you're the one inviting Ahmed. And number 4, attend conference. Okay? Number 4, attend conference. And here are your key expressions. Here they are.
Would you like to
go for it?
I don't know where I am.
Go ahead. Well, the key expressions are on the right side in the blue box. I want you to get some practice using these expressions, and the prompt is number 4 here under exercise 2. You can add any details you want. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? Let's go back to the key expressions here so you can see them. Okay? Go for it.
Okay. Would you like to join with us and attend a conference that is going to be this evening?
I would love to, but I am afraid I have a webbing class to attend. Well, yeah.
That's okay. Let him respond.
Okay.
So, Anton, he said he'd love to, but he has a prior appointment. What would you say at that point, Anton?
Oh, I understand.
You don't have to use any of the key expressions now. Right, right.
I understand. I will appreciate that you have some interest in our conference. I think it's very important for your career and for your management, and you have to think about this question. And please.
Oh my God.
Well,
he's demanding. I guess what you have to do is not as important as his conference.
Well, there is a slight change of plan. Actually, I can watch the recorded class.
There you go. That's true.
I can go. I can attend.
All right. Very good. And the last one. Let's go back to our first page. Prompt number 5, Ahmed. You're going to be making the invitation to Yuki. Number 5, meet dinner.
Yuki.
Yes.
Would you like to meet?
Oh, let's use a different one. Everyone's using what you like. Come
Okay.
on. Be different.
How about meeting this evening for dinner?
Good.
Good. That's good idea. But I'm sorry I have an appointment in that time.
Sorry to hear that.
How about going there tomorrow?
I would love to, but I am afraid my wife doesn't allow me to go.
Oh, that's awful. Maybe we'll have a dinner after tomorrow.
Well, okay, I will bring my wife as well.
All you have to say, Yuki, is, well, you say, well, how about later on? And then Ahmed, you would say, okay, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
So we'll be in touch. That means one will call the other. We'll be in. That's number 18 in our vocabulary list on page 4 of our notes. So we have today layout for design. Articulated means put together. Geography is just all over instead of saying the geography. To draw up plans. Possible participants. These were all corrections that we've made so far. And then finally, we'll be in touch is a good expression you could add here. Let's see if we have time to do one more here. Okay. We're going to scroll down here back to the previous exercise. In the next part of the conversation, Carl calls Anton the following Monday. You're going to listen to the conversation and answer these general questions first. What's the change of plan? And what is the main reason for the change? You're listening for the gist. The gist is the general idea. The gist. Afterwards, you're going to listen a second time if you need to, and you're going to fill in the missing key expressions. So you'll listen once for the gist and once for details. Okay? So let's give it a try. Give me just a second to open the material. 1 second. This is 59. Okay, here we go. Anton. Gotta remember who's it. Okay, Anton. Hello, Anton Golikov speaking. Carl. Hello, Mr. Golikov. This is Carl Kirstler speaking. You came to my presentation last week. Anton. Oh, of course. Yes, I haven't forgotten. Is this a good time to call? Anton. Yes, go ahead. Carl. Well, I was wondering if you were still interested in my company's proposals. Anton. Yes, I am. I know. I invited you to come and meet us, but there's been a slight change of plans, which means we might have to wait for a while. Carl. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you're still interested, right? Anton. Well, some of my colleagues want to wait because they are also interested in other types of biofuels. As a result, we won't be able to give you a date at this stage. Carl. Oh, I understand. These things happen. But it's a shame that we can't meet soon because the project has received a lot of interest from a number of other investors and blah, 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 blah. Okay. What was the change of plan that you heard? If you like, I can read it again, but tell me from what you heard so far, what was the change of plan?
There is no interest now. They want to wait.
That's true. They don't have interest. That's true. That's more about the second reason, the second question. What is the reason for the change? But hang on a second. Well, okay. The change of plan is that the meeting will have to wait. We don't know exactly why. I'm not sure that we know why.
He mentioned.
What is the main?
He mentioned one
Go
of his
ahead, yes.
colleagues. Yeah, one of his colleagues has something. I don't remember exactly.
Okay, we'll listen to it again.
Okay.
Number 2. What is the main reason for the change?
The inventors are interested in other type of fuels production.
Right. In other words, they want to scope out the competition. They want to see what the competitors are like, and maybe they have better prices, maybe they have better products, maybe the investment would be best somewhere else. So that's absolutely right. The reason is that the colleagues of Anton want to look at other types of biofuels. Carl's biofuel is this jatropha crop, so maybe there's other kinds of biofuels that would be interesting. Okay, we're going to listen a second time. This time I want you to focus on the details. I'd like you to fill in those 4 missing words, 4 missing expressions in exercise 4. So listen carefully. Whoops, 1 second. Here we go. Anton. Hello, Anton Grolikov speaking. Carl. Well, Mr. Grolikov, this is Carl Kirstler speaking. You came to my presentation last week. Anton. Yes, of course, I haven't forgotten. Carl. Is this a good time to call? Anton. Yes, go ahead. Carl. Well, I was wondering if you were still interested in my company's proposals. Anton. Yes, I am. I know I invited you to come and meet us, but there's been a slight change of plans, which means we might have to wait for a while. Carl. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but you're still interested, right? Anton. Well, some of my colleagues want to wait because they are also interested in other types of biofuels. As a result, we won't be able to give you a date at this time. Carl. Ah, I understand. These things happen. But it's a shame we can't meet soon because the project has received a lot of interest from a number of other investors. Okay. So now you've heard it a second time. Let's see how many of those expressions you're able to pick up. Okay, so let's start with Yuki. Can you do number 1 for us?
There's been a slight change of plan.
A slight change of plan, exactly. Okay, and Giuseppe, number 2?
As a result, we won't be able to give you a date at this stage.
Excellent. And Anton, number 3?
I understand.
Right. I understand these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Ahmed, number 4?
Number 4. It's shame that we can't meet soon.
How many words did you fill in number 4? 1 or 2?
I don't remember. Shame, just
No.
one. Huh?
Just 1. Are you sure? We need an article. We need an article before shame. Articles are a, and the.
It's a shame.
A shame is correct. It's a shame we can't meet soon because lots of other investors are blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, let's see. I think we're going to run out of time here. Yes. I think we're going to run out of time here. Okay, I think what I'm going to have to do here is, let's see, because I have a class very soon. All right, I think what we're going to have to do is stop here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a homework for you if you're interested. The homework is going to be based on what we did last week. So if you weren't here last week, you can still do it as a kind of introduction to the vocabulary. So from now on, as you've probably noticed, we can send messages inside of Verbally. So I'll post it on Facebook and Google Plus temporarily, but I'll also try to put the link in your directly in Verbling. So you should get a message in your inbox in Verbling. I don't know. I'll do that in about an hour or so. I have to put it together. So you're going to have the key vocabulary in the homework, and then I'm going to fix the presentation because, as you can see, I had the wrong one today. And what we're going to do tomorrow is work on an email, and then we're going to try to put this together into a simulation. We're going to do some phone calls where you're inviting someone to do something, and the person you're inviting has to accept or decline. But this is going to be a more extensive simulation, not a quick one. You're going to try to use all the key vocabulary. So actually, now that I think about it, in the homework, I will put in today's key vocabulary as well. I'll do that as well. Okay, so that would, because you'll need that for tomorrow. All right, so that's the plan. Okay, so just check your inbox later today, and you'll see the link to the homework. Do it, and then you can correct it yourself on the last page. Then bring any questions you have till tomorrow's class, and then we'll use that as the basis to do the final activity for this section. Okay? So that's it for now. I'll be back at the same hour tomorrow. And any questions or comments? By the way, Anton, you're new, so go to my profile and click follow. That way we can message each other inside of Verbling, okay? So go to my profile page in Verbling and you'll see follow teacher, because that way it's easier to contact you. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll be back at the same hour tomorrow and Friday. Friday there'll actually be 2 hours. No more Saturday classes, unfortunately, but I'll be teaching 2 hours, that is from 10 to 12 GMT, not next week, but the week after. So if there's other hours I can pick up, I will definitely pick them up. If there's any particular times or any particular topics you want to deal with, send me a message and I'll try to make it happen for you. Just let me know. By the way, I made a little introductory video too. Go to my profile, look at my video, and give me comments. Things, if you think it's effective or ineffective or if it should change. Take a look. Okay? Give me your best critique.
Okay.
I'm going to have to change it. It has nothing to do with teaching. It's just like lots of music. But anyway, take a look at it. It's more like a music video. Okay. See you soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. See you.